I loved it is that, you know, the symbol of a flying elephant is just such a beautiful metaphor for the way I think a lot of people feel, you know. And it also felt like kind of a personal story for me, you know, a weird-looking character who people don't quite know what to figure out, you know, working with a big, you know, it's like my history of Disney. It's like it's been such a beautiful, long history, and so it just felt very much like close to what I've experienced in my life with them. And also it celebrates the idea you can be different, and you can, you know, people will make fun of you, be different, and at the same time you can use that to a beautiful advantage, like flying.
J'ai des animés quand j'avais 4-5 ans, et cette histoire m'a toujours beaucoup bouleversée, cette histoire d'éléphanto, de maman, comme ça, cette séparation. C'était très, très émotionnel, enfant. Et puis évidemment, je pense qu'il n'y a personne d'autre que Tim pour mettre en scène cette histoire, parce qu'il comprend les incompris, et il apporte toujours sa poésie, sa magie, voilà.
Question. No, I mean, it's all in good fun, right? So, I mean, look, from the minute I worked at Disney, I always wanted to design a theme park. You know, it was one of the things I loved to do. So, in this movie, we got to do it. So that was, and in less time than it actually took to build the real Disneyland. So we got to experience it very quickly, and it was kind of a little dream of mine come true.
Au départ, je me disais que je n'arriverais absolument jamais. Et c'est vraiment grâce à la patience et à la passion des acrobates qui m'ont appris à faire des choses dingues là-haut que j'ai réussi à vaincre ma peur du vide. Mais ça a demandé beaucoup de temps et beaucoup de patience, et voilà, je suis arrivée. Les Belges, je ne savais pas du tout. Honte à moi. Mais c'était une, comment dire, typique artiste de l'âge d'or d'Hollywood, un peu cinéma muet comme ça, très glamour, que Van de Veer, par Michael Keaton, a trouvé dans les rues de Paris. Et on a fait une superstar en la ramenant à Dreamland. Et puis oui, c'est un bel oiseau en cage, on va dire, au début, qui va finir par, comme dans Beau sans voler.
Well, it's a weird movie to make because, you know, you're filming, I mean, you're working with all these amazing actors and crew and sets, and the only thing that's missing is the main character. You know, it's a very disturbing way to make a film that way. So you're really not thinking, oh, you know, this is amazing to make, because you know, it feels like it's a new kind of movie. You try to make it different from the original, but still keep the emotion of it. So it didn't feel like we were remaking it. It just felt we were exploring those same themes. But I just want to say it's official. I don't make sense in any language. So whatever I say, it doesn't make sense in French, English, German. Well, look, I love film, I love all, so I think any kind, you know, I never think of any direct response, you know, the things, but, you know, I'm inspired by any movie that I grew up watching, and that's the interesting thing about Dumbo. It was different. There was something about the color palette of Dumbo and the sort of almost like noir, like lighting in some of it that we tried to, yeah, there was a little bit of that had that inspiration.
I'm not sure. Non, je connaissais plus ou moins le cinéma de Tim avant, donc je sais pas, je vois pas de personnage qui soit assez ressemblant à Colette. L'univers, peut-être, si on veut absolument comparer, peut-être il y a quelque chose de Big Fish, un tout petit peu. Je sais pas, mais c'est vrai que c'est difficile de comparer. Voilà.
Somebody's made fun of your whole life, you know, weird, but maybe something kind of special, you know. So I felt very close to that as a feeling for me, and I think that's, you know, that's why I wanted to do it, because you always try to do something where you have personal feelings deeply attached, and that was this. Back at old Disney movies, and this is where I think it's interesting how life has changed. if you look at old Disney movies, as a child is where we first learned about, death, life, death, sadness, and as children you don't really understand these feelings, and so being presented to them in Disney movies is always a way to learn about them. So I always felt that they had those dark edges. In fact, most people, you think of Pinocchio and Dumbo and any of the Disney movies, a lot of the things that people remember are the scary parts or the sad parts. And so that was what Disney did very, very well. And so I never saw them as being different, it's all together. I mean, just did a circus movie, right? And before I did it, I realized I never really liked the circus. I didn't like the fact that animals, especially wild animals, held in captivity. I found clowns terrifying, and the death-defying acts very terrifying. So the circus was kind of a weird kind of a place, because on one hand, on the other hand, it was a beautiful bunch of artists together and a beautiful bunch of weirdos creating something. So, what's the point? Live animals in the circuses anymore, because it's just, we didn't use anything that we worked with horses and dogs, but no wild animals, because, for those reasons.
Many incredible sets. How did it feel to you? Was it daunting? Was it, how this whole circus theme for you, how did it echo? Parce qu'on parle beaucoup évidemment du cirque, mais...
Moi, une des premières scènes que j'ai tournées, c'était quand on était tous dans la voiture et quand on rentrait dans Dreamland. Et le luxe qu'on avait, c'était qu'il n'y avait pratiquement pas d'écran vert. Et on avait les attractions, les figurants, les acrobates, et un groupe de jazz. C'était assez extraordinaire. On se pinçait tous. On avait l'impression de retourner à l'âge d'or hollywoodien comme ça. C'était grandiose.
D'ailleurs, tout à l'heure, on demandait à Tim quelle était...
Like, not only on the set, but there were people, performing all over, practicing. That's what the circus people do. They're always practicing. So, you turn around and there are people throwing knives or, swinging. She actually learned to do the trapeze, because you're kind of almost, it's that kind of environment. They're so just passionate about it, you get swept up into it.
Oui.
On m'entraînait tous les jours dans une espèce de grande tente, un chapiteau, où ils vivent tous ensemble. C'est vraiment une famille, c'est vrai, c'est un peu difficile de dire ça, mais c'est vrai. Et ils s'aident, ils s'entraînent. Vous allez avoir les clowns qui vont aider, les trapézistes. Enfin, c'est vraiment, il y a un grand soutien, il y a un amour, et puis c'est fascinant de les regarder, c'est assez impressionnant.
Question.
Stylized, right? You have an elephant that's sort of real, but it's still kind of a fantasy thing. So, with the sets and with all the actors, I tried to find, like weird-looking people to kind of fit with the weird-looking elephant. So I was very lucky to work with beautiful, weird, amazing people that, like every person is just like, I don't know, to me, like, because of the themes of the movies, like a weird family, I was very happy to work with, like people that I love, like Eva I worked with a few times, and Michael I worked with many years ago, and Danny and Colin I felt like I'd known. So having that weird kind of family, kind of weird dysfunctional family feeling was very, very important to it. And the reason I love all this is because they're willing to go along on this weird trip.
C'est vrai que je ne choisis pas un rôle en disant il faut que ce soit féministe. Mais j'aime les femmes fortes, évidemment pas les femmes soumises. Et puis c'est des femmes qui ont un voyage, comme Colette, où il se passe quelque chose, où c'est une espèce de heureuse manquage qui va prendre conscience que sa vie est superficielle et ça y est, elle s'émancipe. Mais oui, des femmes fortes, des femmes complexes, des femmes qui ont du courage, oui, des femmes modernes, oui.
Again, I have joined the circus making a movie. I have joined. No, making a movie is like joining a circus. You know, it's the same dynamic. You know, you're working with amazing performers, amazing artists, and so no, I have no regret at all because you know, making from the beginning of making movies, it's a better version of running away to the circus. Well, yes, because I think everybody has a different version of what speaks to them, and you know, those kind of characters. Right now, the character most like me is the Wolfman, not Frankenstein, but you know, I change different monsters every day. But I think those are the kind of things that you just, something that you feel like is a part of you, it does make you feel better. It makes you feel like you can put those weird feelings into an image or a symbol, like with Dumbo, that makes you understand it better for yourself. We do war, we don't show him losing his arm, we don't show his wife dying, you know. So we meet these characters, and so that's what I thought you did a beautiful job about, is we don't have to see all that to sort of get the sense of what he'd been through as a character. So that to me was, and you know, it wasn't a main point, it's just like setting the story in a certain framework where it actually mirrored, you know, him losing his arm, you know, and not having a family in a different way, parallel sort of Dumbo's sort of journey that he takes. So I just felt like it just felt like a good mix in terms of the setting of the story.
Bah oui, qui ne dirait pas non? On lit tout de suite. On n'a pas besoin de lire un script. On sait toujours que ça va être un univers particulier ou en couleur ou un rôle qu'on n'a jamais joué. En tout cas, les rôles qu'il m'a offerts ont toujours été extrêmement divers. Et puis surtout, c'est une atmosphère qui est toujours très joyeuse sur son plateau. Ce qui est rare en fait, parce que surtout sur les grosses machines comme ça, il y a vraiment oui, une atmosphère chaleureuse. Et puis, I can feel the energy, what am I saying? Terrible things. C'est toujours embarrassant. Oui, mais c'est toujours très... C'est chaleureux, c'est une vraie famille aussi, puis ils travaillent souvent avec les mêmes gens, les mêmes équipes, les mêmes assistants, les producteurs, et il n'y a pas de jugement, ce qui est un vrai plaisir et on est libre.
On these three words, I
Understand anything anybody says.
Perfect.
Doesn't matter French, English.
I think this is a perfect.
And that's why we get along, because she knows I can't speak, and she accepts it, and so I'm very grateful.
Alors voilà, c'est un